Good morning, class 6. Welcome to the social science class. We will be continuing with the chapter Understanding Diversity. But before that, a quick recap of what we have studied about Ladakh and Kerala. Ladakh is a desert area, desert mountainous area, in fact, in the eastern part of Jammu Kashmir, where we have studied that very little agriculture, or you can say like no agriculture is practiced, and the reason is because that area doesn't receive any rainfall. So people there, they keep goats and sheep. Their food habits, they eat meat, milk products like cheese and butter, and most of them, like or you can say almost all the families, they own some goats, cows, and dizos. Dizos are yak. The religion which they practice there is Buddhism, and during the tradition, some cultural festival, they perform or they like to sing Kesar Saga, which is an epic song from Tibet. Whereas on the other hand, when we talk about Kerala, it's a state in southwest corner of India, and on one side you can see it in the map that there is sea, and on the other side you can see that it is surrounded by hills. This area is known for spices since time immemorial. Traders have been coming to this place for spices. We have studied about the famous traveler who visited Kerala. His name was Ibn Battuta. Can anybody tell me who was the ruler when Ibn Battuta visited India? Yes, you are right. He was Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So Tughlaq dynasty was ruling our country. Okay, so just a little bit, just for your information, I'll tell you about Ibn Battuta, that he was a Moroccan scholar who traveled almost for 30 years across the medieval world, and he has traveled more than any other traveler or explorer like Marco Polo and Zhang He. Okay, now coming back to Kerala, we were discussing about that place. Now, what is their food habit? Most of the time, or they prefer food items like rice, fish, and vegetables. Now, we have compared these two places, but then there are some similarities as well. The similarity is that both these regions were influenced by Chinese and Arabs. History and geography are often, you can say, linked up in their cultural life of these regions. Now let's continue with the chapter. We have to start with unity in diversity. India's diversity has always been recognized as a source of its strength. When the British ruled India, women and men from different cultural, religious, and regional backgrounds came together to oppose them. India's freedom movement had thousands of people of different backgrounds in it. They worked together to decide joint actions. They went to jail together, and they found different ways to oppose the British. So, we have studied that India is a diverse country where people of different religion, different caste, different creed, they live together peacefully. So when the Britishers were ruling our country, although they were from different backgrounds, but they joined hands together to oppose the British rule because they wanted our country to be free. Interestingly, the British thought they could divide Indians because they were so different and then continue to rule them. But the people showed how they could be different and yet be united in their battle against the British. So British had adopted the policy of divide and rule, and they felt that since there are so many differences in their cultural backgrounds, in their practices, in their lifestyle, they could easily divide the country and rule the country for long time. But They were disappointed. They were disappointed because people joined hands together, even though they were from different backgrounds. In spite of all these facts, they joined hands together to oppose the British rule. Here we have a song which was sung after Jallianwala Bagh. Don't forget the days of blood. O friend, in the midst of your happiness, remember to shed a tear for us. The hunter has torn away every single flower. Do plant a flower in the desert garden, dear friend. Having fallen to bullets, we slept in Jallianwala Bagh. Do light a lamp on this lonely grave, O friend. The blood of Hindus and Muslims flows together today. Do soak your robe in this river of blood, dear friend. Some rot in jails while others lie in their graves. Do shed a few tears for them, O friend. This song was sung after the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. I hope you all are aware of Jallianwala Bagh when okay. So we were talking about. I was just telling you about Jallianwala Bagh. Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place on 13th of April in 1919. It was the day of Vaisakhi, and the people had assembled in the Jallianwala Bagh in protest against the Rowlatt Act, and they were against the permission which was not granted to Mahatma Gandhi for visiting Punjab, and deportation of Satyapal and Kichlu. So it's just a background knowledge for your just for your information. So it was the Rowlatt Act is also known as the Black Act, and in which the people were the Britishers could arrest the Indians without telling the reasons, and they could keep them in jail for, and the proceedings of the court could take place after, like it was not sure when the proceedings will take place. So what has happened was that just a day before this, a law was passed, and general which people about which people were not aware, and General Dyer, the law was that people cannot assemble at one place, and in what happened in Jallianwala Bagh, so many people had assembled there in the protest. So what General Dyer did was that he asked for shootout, and he made people stand near the exits. So many people died there because of the shootout, and many of them, they jumped in the well to save themselves, and finally they also died. So this was a tragic incident in Indian history. Okay, so Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, in which British general opened fire on a large group of unarmed, peaceful people, killing many and wounding even more. Men and women, Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims, rich and poor, had gathered to protest against the British. This song was composed and sung to honor the memory of those brave people. So, this song was written in the memory of those martyrs who have died there in the Jallianwala Bagh. Songs and simple symbols that emerged during the freedom struggle serve as a constant reminder of our country's rich tradition of respect for diversity. Do you know the story of the Indian flag? It was used as a symbol of protest against the British by people everywhere. Okay. In his book, The Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru says that Indian unity is not something imposed from the outside, but rather it was something deeper, and within its fold, the widest tolerance of belief and custom was practiced, and every variety acknowledged and even encouraged. It was Nehru who coined the phrase unity in diversity to describe the country. So, you can understand the term now, that we are united even in spite of the differences which we have, that is unity in diversity. India's national anthem, composed by Rabindranath Tagore, is another expression of unity of India. In what way does the national anthem describe this unity? Just jog your brain and we will discuss it further. After this chapter, please do the question answers which I will be sending you in your copies, if you in your notebooks. If you have fair notebooks, please do it, jot it down there. Otherwise, you can jot it in the rough copies, and later on, before or after the school reopens, you can fare it out for yourselves. Thank you, class. Be at home. Take care of yourselves.